The earthquake struck San Francisco like a sudden, violent blow from beneath the earth. In seconds, walls collapsed, chimneys shattered, and streets twisted apart. But the shaking itself was not what destroyed the city. What came next was far worse: the fires. The earthquake knocked down buildings worth hundreds of thousands of dollars, but the inferno that followed burned property worth hundreds of millions. Even that figure fails to capture the truth. The destruction was beyond calculation. Never before in history had a modern, powerful city been so completely ruined. San Francisco was not damaged. San Francisco was gone. Within an hour of the first shock, a massive column of smoke rose into the sky. It glowed dark red from the flames below and could be seen from nearly 100 miles away. For 3 days and 3 nights, that tower of smoke swayed overhead, dimming the sun, darkening the sky, and covering the land in ash. Day felt like dusk. The air burned the lungs. Fire broke out everywhere at once. South of Market Street, in working-class neighborhoods, in factories, in crowded districts, flames erupted in a dozen places. There was no way to stop them. The earthquake had destroyed the systems that made the city function. Water pipes were broken. Communication lines were dead. Streets were blocked with rubble. There was no organization, no coordination, no control. The fire department fought bravely, but without water and without direction, they were nearly powerless. All the careful engineering of a 20th century city had been smashed in seconds. Desperate measures followed. Buildings were blown up with dynamite to create fire breaks. Entire landmarks were deliberately destroyed by human hands in the hope of slowing the flames. Some of San Francisco's proudest structures were reduced to rubble not by the earthquake, not by fire, but by choice. And still, the fire advanced. What is most surprising is not the destruction, but the behavior of the people. That Wednesday night, while the city roared and burned, the streets were strangely quiet. There were no screaming crowds, no mass panic, no chaos. In all those terrible hours, there was no hysteria, no disorder. Tens of thousands fled their homes, but they did so calmly. People wrapped themselves in blankets and walked through the night carrying whatever they could save: bedding, bundles of clothes, small treasured possessions. Families pulled wagons loaded with their entire lives. Baby carriages, toy wagons, and hand carts were used to haul belongings. Everywhere, people dragged heavy trunks across broken streets. And yet, despite everything, there was courtesy. People made space for one another. They helped strangers. They spoke quietly. Never in its history had San Francisco's people been so patient, so kind, so composed as on this night of terror. By nightfall, surrender was complete. There was no water left. The sewers had been drained. Entire districts had already burned earlier in the day. In one direction stood the blackened ruins of once great buildings. Hotels reduced to shells. Newspaper offices collapsed. Landmarks turned into smoking debris. At 8 o'clock that evening, Union Square was packed with refugees. Thousands lay on the grass, exhausted. Government tents had been set up. Fires burned for cooking. Long lines of people waited quietly for free meals. A city that had been wealthy and modern only hours earlier now survived on relief. Early Thursday morning, just 24 hours after the earthquake, the witness sat on the steps of a small house on Nob Hill. All around stood the grand homes of the city's richest families. From the east and the south, 2 enormous walls of flame were advancing, moving steadily closer. Inside the house, the owner remained calm and welcoming. He spoke without panic. "Yesterday morning," he said, "I was worth $600,000. This house is all I have left now. It will be gone in 15 minutes. 15 minutes. That was all that stood between wealth and nothing. Moving through the city, the witness passed the shattered dome of City Hall. Most of the stone had fallen away, leaving the steel skeleton exposed. Market Street was buried under wreckage. Massive pillars lay toppled across the ruins like fallen giants. The earthquake had broken the city. The fire finished it. By Friday night, the flames were finally brought under control, but only after Russian Hill and Telegraph Hill had been burned and 3/4 of a mile of docks and wharves destroyed. The city's lifelines to the sea were gone. The most critical stand was made on Van Ness Avenue. Firefighters held the line there through exhaustion and smoke. Had they failed, the last remaining sections of the city would have been erased. When it was over, San Francisco looked like the crater of a volcano. Tens of thousands of refugees camped around the ruins. At the Presidio alone, more than 20,000 people slept under tents and open sky. Surrounding towns were overwhelmed with the homeless, cared for by relief committees struggling to keep up. Above all else, one thing remained unforgettable: the heat. Not normal heat, but a crushing, suffocating force. Heat that pushed people back. Heat that burned the air. Heat that turned the city into an oven. Heat. Heat. San Francisco had been shaken apart, then burned away. A modern city reduced to ash. Yet through it all, its people endured, not with madness, but with dignity. The city was lost, but the calm courage of those who walked through the fire remained.